On Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new 2017 Honda CR-V. With revamped cargo space, it's the biggest van yet.
That is Utah Street. We're in Baltimore at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. It has rained all afternoon, but right now there's not much rain in the air. The Blue Jays and Orioles trying to get this game 3 of this 4-game set off on the right foot. DeMarlo Hale will be the manager tonight. John Gibbons is away for personal reasons, so DeMarlo Hale will be the manager. You can see Derek Shelton working on that lineup card. He will be the bench coach and help DeMarlo Hale. Let's take a look at the lineup that Hale has put together tonight. Top of the order, Steve Pearce. He's got good numbers against the starter Wade Miley for Baltimore. 7 for 17 with a couple of home runs and 5 RBIs. And then down in the bottom of the order, Kevin Pillar has always hit well against the Orioles. This season's no different. 353 for his career. And Kevin Pillar is batting in that 6th spot in there, ready to face Wade Miley, who's making his 4th start of the season against the Jays.
And 28th of the year, looks to build off the best month of the season as he gets his first start in September. He made 5 starts in August. He went 3-1 with an excellent ERA of 2.60. One of the reasons for his success, kept the ball in the ballpark. Just 2 home runs given up in his last 27 2/3 innings. He throws a lot of pitches, has a lot of 3-2 counts. Blue Jays going to have to wait him out, and he will give up his share of base hits. Jays have hit him hard in the past. A 2-6 record versus Toronto, 9 starts, and they've hit him to the tune of 465, his earned run average.
4 of the Blue Jays have had home runs against Miley this season. Smokes hit 2. Devin Travis hit 1. Jose Bautista took him deep. We are set. Here's the first pitch of the game. It is up and away for ball 1. It's a cool night, 17 degrees. As we mentioned, it's been raining all afternoon. Certainly the hint of fall in the air. Pierce takes a strike. It's 1-1.
Miley likes to work quickly, get the ball. He doesn't stray too far from that pitching rubber. The Blue Jays might have to step out a little bit, mess up his timing.
Pierce drives this one down the left field line. Stay fair ball. It is a foul ball. Louis Rivera thinks it's fair, and it looked like it hit fair to me. But the third base umpire, Pat Holberg, called it foul, and Rivera immediately turned to the dugout and said that is a fair ball. So we're going to have a review, I would think, on the first batter of the ball game.
How about that, DeMarlo? Your first pitch, or excuse me, your first batter as the manager, and you get to make a decision right here. Do you want to take a look at it, or do you want to?
I'm going to take a long look at it for sure. And
you got 30 seconds.
Nope. He said it was foul. But Louis Rivera, he immediately turned around and pointed to the dugout. He thought it was fair. Let's take a look at it down the left field line. Boy, that's close enough to look at in my mind. Looks like it hit that yellow line. And if it hits that yellow line, it's a fair ball. That first shot, maybe a better angle to take a look at it. Steve Pearce has to take a deep breath and get his breath back. Louis Rivera, he was pretty adamant. As soon as he saw that ball strike the wall, he turned after the umpire had called it foul.
It was funny to watch Rivera say fair, Machado say foul, and the umpire say foul.
2-1, they win.
They got outvoted. This is probably the best angle right here, right down the line. And you tell me, does it make contact with that yellow strip?
Oh, it's so hard to tell. Mike Sparks does a terrific job in the truck giving us those replays. There's a liner right to Tim Beckham. It's short. Pierce continues to swing the bat well. Well, this is a very good defensive ball club. They've had some changes lately. Mancini's done a good job in left. He made a game-7 catch last night. Tim Beckham's been short, and Jonathan Scope, what a season he's had.
Both with the bat and glove, I think. He made a great play in the 9th inning last night to basically win the game for him. He's had the most starts and the most innings played in the American League as a second baseman. He's had the most chances per 9 innings at 5.14 chances per 9 inning at second base. He is really blossoming into a complete player.
This is Josh Donaldson. Josh went 0 for 5 last night with a walk. Of course, it was a 1-0 game. The first time the Blue Jays lost a 1-0 game this season. First 1-0 game that they have played, and then Got to go all the way back to last August 15th, the last time they played a 1-0 game in 9 innings.
There were 3 1-0 games in the big leagues last night.
Indeed, 3 1-0 games. The Dodgers in San Diego, of course, that was the great Clayton Kershaw who returned. And he came back and they had that 1-0 game. Milwaukee had a 1-0 win over Washington. Donaldson called out on strikes. He wasn't too happy with that call, as you can see.
You can see his reaction as he walks back to the dugout saying, wow, Miley can cut his fastball if he needs to. That's what it looks like right there. Cut it on the inside corner. Josh thought it was in and maybe down. Let's see from the side. It's right across the knees.
Yeah, that's really interesting. From that center field angle, it looked low. From the side, it looked like it caught the bottom of the strike zone. Here is Justin Smoak back in the lineup after missing 3 games with calf tightness. We mentioned Smoak homered. He homered off Wade Miley on the 14th of April right here in Baltimore. And then Blue Jays hit a couple more home runs. Devin Travis had a home run on May 21st against Miley, and then Bautista and Smoak got him on June 28th.
He's batting from that right side, and he has really hit lefties well this season. A little bit more power when he's hitting left-handed, a little bit more of an average, higher batting average from the right side.
There are his numbers against Wade Miley. 2-1 pitch. Chases that high pitch. Smoak took batting practice yesterday. He ran a little bit in the outfield. He's been bothered by calf tightness, not necessarily a calf injury. He's played a lot, and I think he was worn down a little bit. Probably a pretty good time to take a 3-day break.
Get off your legs just a little bit. Been playing a lot of innings at first base for the Jays this season.
Fights that off. 3 and 2 outs were in the first inning.
You got to like the
game started
pace.
on time. I didn't think it would.
This afternoon, I didn't think we were even going to play, but you got to love the pace that Miley sets when he's out on the mound. He's in control.
Same pitch Donaldson was called out on. It's ball 4 to Smoak. Wade Miley, he has been a workhorse, and he was picked up last July in the trade deadline from Seattle. Trade for Ariel Miranda, the lefty. Most walks in the American League, and that's been a problem for Miley. He has walked 80. Holland, Verlander, and Gausman, another Orioles starter in that top 5. Jose Bautista gets his normal welcome here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Of course, the great Reggie Jackson always said it. They don't boo nobodies.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't care for him here. He's hit so many big home runs against this team.
Ground ball. Beckham dives, knocks it down. It'll be a base hit for Bautista. Ball hit on the ground. It just hugged the ground. Beckham knocked it down. Looked like he might have knocked the wind out of himself. It's an infield hit for Bautista.
And maybe if he comes up with it cleanly, maybe the only play is at second base. Too far to get Jose at first base. So he's got another infield hit as it bounces off of Beckham's glove.
2 aboard with 2 outs for Kendrys Morales. Morales 0 for 6 last night. He's got good numbers against Wade Miley, batting .429 for his career. Inside pitch. Morales had the big night here on Thursday night. 4 for 5, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. Off speed pitch down and away, ball 2. For Morales, it was his 20th multi-home run game. A career high 7 RBIs. And the 7th Blue Jay to hit 3 home runs in a game.
He had a home run cut right there. Blue Jays faced Miley back in May in this ballpark last time they were here. First inning started like this. 2 quick outs, then an error, a single by Smoke, and a 3-run home run by Travis. And that was all the scoring the Blue Jays did that day. And they ended up winning 3-1.
In that game, Marco Estrada started against Wade Miley. Estrada picked up his 3rd win. It was the 2nd loss for Miley. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. That's ball 3.
That was the 12 strikeout effort by Marco that day.
The red hot Kevin Pillar waits on deck. Full count with 2 outs. Of course, the runners will be moving. Pillar's got a 7-game hit streak. There go the runners. Slow roller toward Machado. Morales doesn't run well. Machado throws him out. And the Blue Jays get a walk, a single. They leave 2. Miley gets through the top half of the 1st. Adam Jones was ejected in the 1st inning, and that probably had a lot to do with why we played 13 innings and it was a 1-0 game. Jones is back in there tonight, and behind him, Trey Mancini, the rookie left fielder, has really hit well against the Blue Jays this season, hitting over 300 with a double and a pair of home runs, and then down in the 8th spot. How about this catcher? He has really come on for the Orioles. Wellington Castillo has a 4-game hit streak, and look at the numbers in the 4 games. A double, 2 home runs, and 6 RBIs. He's been a real good offensive player for this Orioles ball club.
Thought he had the game winner last night, but Teoscar Hernandez holding that ball at the wall, and we played some extra innings. Marcus Stroman, his 28th start of the season. He pitched a great game in his last start versus Boston, limiting the Red Sox to 1 run over 6 innings, but came away with yet another no decision as the Jays lost a late lead and then lost the game 6-5. Stroman comes into this game on a nice little roll, having allowed just 2 runs or fewer in 4 of his last 5 starts. Last time he saw Baltimore, he pitched 7 2/3 shutout innings and won that ball game 4-0. Well, Marcus, he's been the most consistent starter for the Blue Jays all season long.
Marcus has 10 no decisions. His record for the season, as Pat mentioned, 11-6. Here's the leadoff man, Tim Beckham. First pitch is upstairs for a ball. Beckham's 0 for 4 against Stroman. This is the first time he's gotten to play every day since he's come to Baltimore, so his at-bats are down against Marcus.
But his batting average is up since coming over to Baltimore. He's hitting up into the 380s to pull that seasonal average up to 296 with some power. Got 18 home runs.
Yeah, he's had a great run. There's a tough pitch down and away. Beckham thought it was off the plate. Beckham has an 11-game hit streak. His second 11-game hit streak since joining the Orioles. He had a 12-gamer to start his Oriole career from August 1st to August 12th. 1-2. Checks his swing. The appeal to first, and the first base umpire, Tony Randazzo, calls Beckham for a swing. Stroman traditionally gets a lot of ground balls, so the infield becomes very important. In the outfield, it's Pierce, Pilar, and Bautista. Justin Smoke doesn't get the credit he deserves for his glove work at first.
Yeah, he's been outstanding this season. He's only committed 2 errors. His last start was Tuesday versus Boston. That is the last time he didn't start at first base before the last 3 days. Before then, it was June the 23rd at Kansas City. He's had the second most starts at first base and second most innings played as a first baseman in the American League behind Eric Hosmer. So he's going to get a lot of votes, I think, this year for the Gold Glove.
Manny Machado, his second straight multi-hit game last night. He had 4 hits in that game. He's hit in 24 of his last 30 home games. It's really come on in the second half. Average up to 273. Since the All-Star break, Manny Machado has hit 345. That's the 5th highest average since the break in the American League. Well, he is really taking pitches very well. You can see him tracking the ball all the way into the catcher's glove, and he had a couple of base hits to start the game right back up the middle.
Just watch where his hands are when he's ready to swing or take. You're in a great hitting position. He's seeing the ball. It's called separation. You want to get some separation with your hands from your body as you're getting ready to swing, and he's got that going now.
Late on that high fastball, it's 3-2. Luke Mailey's doing the catching for Stroman. Mailey's making his 30th start. This is his first start since coming back from the minor leagues in that knee surgery. Jonathan Scope is on deck. Mailey's done a nice job behind the plate for the Blue Jays this year.
Came in yesterday, did a good job behind the plate.
3-2. Fouled off at the plate. Mailey ended the game as a defensive replacement in the 7th inning and got 2 more at bats.
He's thrown out 7 of 22 base runners. Now that might not be important in this series, but we're going to Boston after this, and he has really done a good job catching and throwing.
Nice play at second by Darwin Barney. Takes a hit away from Machado, and Machado looks back over his shoulders, and man, hit that ball pretty good, but Darwin stayed with it, makes a nice grab for the second out of the inning.
What a line drive. Darwin's checking the webbing of his glove like he might have broke it. If this ball gets by him, it might be extra bases. That's how hard he hit it, to the delight of Marcus Stroman. Darwin Barney flashing the leather at second base.
Again, Machado favoring up the middle and the right side of the diamond. This is Jonathan Scope. He had the game winner last night in the bottom of the 13th. Just his second career game-winning hit. And a game-winning home run earlier in his career. July 10th against the Nationals, 2015. Well, he's blossomed into a star at second, hasn't he?
Yeah, you just look at the way he handles himself with the glove and with the bat on the bases. He's in a nice little groove right now, and he's doing a little something every night to help the Orioles win a ball game. Buck Showalter, his manager, says you got to start thinking about this guy as an MVP in the American League. Jose Altuve leads the American League in hitting. He's followed by Garcia, Hosmer, and then Scope. He's also driven over 100 runs as a second baseman.
There's only 2 guys in the American League that have 100 RBIs, Scope and Nelson Cruz. Cruz has 103. Pulled on the ground. Goins waits at short, gathers and fires high, but not too high for Smoke over at first. Good start from Stroman. 3 up, 3 down, no problem.
spent the last couple of months down in the minor leagues, but he says at the age of 30, my career is far from over. It's been an up and down journey for Saunders over the last stretch. Of course, at the start of last year, he was with the Blue Jays, had that breakout season, ended up being an all-star, and then he tailed off in the second half of the season, signed by Philly in the winter, designated after 200 at-bats, chose the Blue Jays organization after, in part because of the trust and comfort level. Then Buffalo, his first stint in AAA since 2011. There, Saunders said he initially put too much pressure on himself to get back to the big leagues. He struggled after a conversation with his wife. He realized it was important to live in the moment, approach the game at bat by at bat. He relaxed more, the worries went away, and now he is back with the Blue Jays on this roller coaster 18-month journey, Buck.
It has been indeed. He's just 30 years old, so there's no reason for him not to continue his major league career.
He's very happy to be back with Toronto. He was telling me the other day, he says this feels like home.
Here's Kevin Pillar. Mentioned Pillar has a 7-game hit streak. He's hitting .367 over those 7 games. Kevin has hits in 12 of his last 13 games against the Orioles. Batting .353 against Baltimore. Fouls that off.
He must like the colors orange and black, because if the uniform is orange and black, he's going to get a hit against him.
Kevin has 61 hits since the start of 2015 against the Orioles. That's the most for any player playing against Baltimore. Bouncing ball up the middle. Beckham has to give ground. He better hurry. Bang, bang at first, and Tim Leeper wants the Blue Jays to look at it. Pillar busted it out of the box, and Beckham had laid back a little bit on that ground ball.
That's some of the things that the Oriole people were saying, that the consistency at shortstop really hasn't been there. He gave ground when he didn't have to. The ball wasn't hit that hard where he has to back up on the ball and catch the ball in the outfield. But he's got the strong arm and an accurate throw over to first base, and I don't think the Blue Jays are going to challenge it. That's in the glove before he's on the base.
Yep, and didn't make contact with the base before Davis caught the ball. 1 out. Darwin Barney, the second baseman. Barney went 0 for 3 last night. Darwin had a sacrifice bunt in the 7th, a 2-strike sacrifice bunt after a Goins leadoff walk, but the Blue Jays would strand a pair of base runners, and the game remained scoreless.
I thought they might have him bunt again. That was in the 12th inning after a leadoff double, but he was pinched hit for, and the Blue Jays didn't score. That was in the 12th inning. They lost it in the 13th.
Michael Saunders pinch hit for Barney and hit into a fielder's choice. Darwin takes some time, steps out of the box. It's a 2-1 count on the Blue Jays second baseman.
That was right after the Urania double that led off the 12th inning.
Curveball pulled foul.
I thought the kid was going to score his first big league run, and it was going to be a winner.
Well, last night, Teoscar Hernandez started in right field his first day with the Blue Jays. Richard Urania switch hitting shortstop. He got in the game, as did Carlos Ramirez, right next to Hernandez. Carlos Ramirez was perfect for 2 innings. He's not given up a run this year.
This year, not just
not
yesterday.
This week, not this month, this year.
You know what you can say about all of the kids that we saw in the game yesterday? They played like they belong. They look like they belong in the big leagues.
I spoke to Ramirez before this game tonight, and I says, hey, congratulations, and I hope a lot of your family was watching back in Dominican. He said they're here. So his family got to see his big league debut here last night. That's an awesome experience, and interesting young man. He has not allowed a run in 39 2/3 innings. Bouncing ball to third. Machado little extra on that throw. 2 away.
Yeah, he seems to know how much arm strength he needs on every throw. He knows the runner. He knows how hard or how soft the ball was hit. He can unload that ball across the infield from any angle. He's a good one.
Manny Machado came to the big leagues in the second half of the 2012 season as a 19-year-old. And he came up after moving from short to third. Buck Showalter, the manager of the Orioles, called down to Double-A and says, move Manny Machado to third. I'm going to bring him up to big. I think he played 20 games at third before he came up.
Looks like he's been playing over there his whole life.
Ryan Goins grounds out to second base. 3 easy outs for Wade Miley. Marcus Stroman retired to side in order in the bottom of the first. This call, and it was a low strike. That was strike 2 in the at-bat. He would eventually strike out, but he wasn't pleased with that second strike call.
No, and he carried it into the dugout. And I didn't think Jones did anything wrong here. He went back, and he did have something to say, and his manager tried to keep him in the ball game by getting between them. He said, don't worry about that, but it was too late. He got thrown out by Pat Holberg. And wouldn't you know it, that spot came up a couple of times in very important parts of that game yesterday, and Adam wasn't there. Third inning, the first 2 batters came up, got hits, and then the next batter, Gentry, struck out.
Yeah, they missed his presence in the lineup for sure. It changes the whole way that the Blue Jays pitched to that lineup. So Jones, that's just the second ejection of his career. The other came earlier in the season, back on May 3rd at Boston. Marcus Stroman misses with that first slider. Adam Jones is 6 for 18 against Stroman. Two 2-0. Stroman asked the umpire, Nick Lentz, who was inside, and Lentz just calmly said, yeah, it was inside. He waved it inside. You know, we have seen these umpires and players and coaches and managers. There's a contentious relationship, no question about it. But last night, Jones was in the dugout. He had said his piece. He was in the dugout, and Pat Holberg, who's third base tonight, threw him out. And Buck Showalter, as you saw, tried to intervene, jump in front of Jones. But it was much too late, and, you know, it's very difficult. And I don't know what Jones said.
We don't know what he said, but it didn't look like he showed the umpire up at all.
Well, he certainly did it on the field.
Yeah.
And the fans wouldn't be privy to that. 3-1. Now it's 3-2. I mean, you and I remember the times when umpires would tell you, don't show me up. And we could say almost anything you wanted to, as long as it was in the direction of the mound. If I was catching and I was looking at the mound and telling the umpire how bad I thought he was that night, we would argue, we would scream at each other, but I never got thrown out. Good slider.
Down and away. And you couldn't get personal with him either. That was another thing, but it just looked funny last night, and unfortunately, the fans who paid a lot of money couldn't see Adam Jones put just one at bat. Marcus Stroman is putting that ball on the outside part of the plate against these righties so far. 4 up, 4 down.
A couple of strikeouts. He got Beckham to start the game, and there he gets Jones to start the inning. This is Trey Mancini, the rookie left fielder. He's had a good season against the Blue Jays, batting .316 against the Jays.
He too made possibly the defensive play of the game last night to take away a run and a hit from Steve Pearce. I mean, the Orioles came up with some defensive plays last night to help them win that game.
Well, and when you think about it, you play a 13-inning scoreless game, and the winning run is scored in the bottom of the 13th. There's going to be some good defensive plays on both sides of the time. Ground ball, base hit to right. Stroman hesitated in his delivery, and it didn't mess up the timing of Trey Mancini. That's his 13th hit this season against the Blue Jays.
That might actually work to Mancini's favor. Watch how he rocks back as soon as he sees the ball. He rocks back. He started, then he stopped, but then he got that front leg up and got the bat head out for a base hit. I think if you want to change the way you throw to Mancini, you have to quick pitch him because he rocks back and lifts up that leg. I think if you hesitate, that works in his favor.
This is Chris Davis. Davis, big first baseman, batting in the 6th spot. Talk about a powerful lineup. They've got Davis batting 6th, Trumbull batting 7th.
Castillo batting 8th. He's not any kind of pushover easy. He's just under 300 with 16 home runs. So that's what the Orioles do. That's what the Blue Jays do. These are the 2 biggest home run hitting teams over the last 5 years or so.
Davis is a 2-time home run champ, yet he has not whimpered at all about batting 6th in this lineup. Trumbull led the American League in home runs last year. He's batting 7th. He hasn't said a word about it either. Hitters know that they're not swinging the bats up to their normal capabilities, so Buck Showalter's dropped them down in the order, and they've accepted it.
And they're winning, and they're scoring a lot of runs. Why would they say anything, right?
1-2, cut on and missed. Davis strikes out. A couple of strikeouts in the inning, 3 in the game for Stroman.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Baltimore, Maryland, lots of history here. Of course, the home of Babe Ruth, not far from this ballpark, and the Orioles have had a rich tradition here for a long time. This is Mark Trumbo. It's this ball down the right side. This ball is going to slice out of play into the seats. Trumbo was 1 for 5 in the game last night. He had a infield single.
Don't let him get hot. Right now he's off just a little bit. You can see it in his swing. He's just not squaring up the ball consistently like we have seen in the past, but don't let him get hot. His home runs start to come in bunches.
47 a year ago. There's 20 this season. Look out. Oh, that hit Stroman hard. And now the ball is dead, and obviously we don't know where it hit him, but it hit him flush.
It looks like it hit him on his pitching arm somewhere. And this place has gone quiet.
George Poulos out trying to help Marcus, as that was a line shot. And Stroman is in some distress. One of the big fears, obviously, any pitcher, the comeback line drives, and we have seen so many pitchers get hit. These big, strong hitters.
You know, and Marcus is such a great athlete and gets himself in a great position to catch the comebacker. When they do, it looks like it might have got him in the elbow area. But there was nothing he could do on that one.
You can see he's able to move that arm and flex his fingers, but you would really keep your hopes up that there's nothing. Everybody's obviously very concerned at both sides of the ball field. We have seen this so many times. Of course, Jay Happ got hit in the head a few years ago. Alex Cobb's been hit. Mike Messina, who pitched here for so many years, and pitchers certainly can relate to this. Their worst nightmare, those line drive comebackers to the mound.
Yeah, the kind that you just can't get out of the way of. And it looks like it hit him in the elbow area, but he's trying to flex and trying to grab George Poulis's hand and give him some strength test. Man, you never want to see that.
I don't care where you get hit. Anytime a ball is hit that hard by a big man like Trumbo, it's going to cause a lot of concern. And Trumbo, he too feels bad about it. You never want to see anybody get hurt on the playing field. But I can't imagine him continuing in this game. Of course, DeMarlo Hale is the manager. John Gibbons is away from the ball club. Pete Walker is saying, nah, we can't let him throw anymore. You just don't know the extent of it. And you got to make sure that he's okay. I mean, the adrenaline will keep him in the mindset that he can pitch. He says, let me throw one pitch. I don't think it's worth it.
They're not giving him his hat, so he can't.
No. And DeMarlo Hale has taken his hat, and he is going to be done. And we wish nothing but the best for Marcus. But the right decision is to have a doctor look at that. I mean, he got smoked on the elbow.
And DeMarlo holding the club and hat behind his back, saying, look, your career is more important than one game.
Absolutely. And you know what? You want to stay out there, and he's a fighter, but the right decision is to have it checked by a doctor. Make sure he's okay. Not the way you wanted to see him walk off the field, but he will have that checked. He'll get some x-rays, and they'll make sure he's okay before they allow him to continue. But I just think it's the right move. He got hit so hard, you just don't know the extent of it. And you know, his personality, his adrenaline, everything else is going to make him think he can continue. But I think the staff, the training staff, made the right decision to make sure he's checked out and okay. This is going to be not pleasant to watch, folks. He follows through it, hit him right on the outside of that right elbow. And you know what? I think after Marcus sees that, he will agree with the decision to take him out of this game. And he's fortunate that it didn't hit him anywhere else. I mean, it's not good to get hit anywhere, but no, my goodness, if he'd got hit near his head, no telling.
And again, one game, you know, and I respect the fight and the wanting to stay out there and see if you can go to pick up your teammates, but one game isn't going to matter when you look at the big picture in his whole career.
Matt Dermody is going to get as much time as necessary to get loose, so we're going to have a break here. DeMarlo Hale giving the umpire the name, and we'll be back after this break. And the beat goes on for Giancarlo Stanton, and what a season he has put together. The Marlins have fallen on hard times. They are not playing as well as they did a while ago. They have lost 5 in a row, but they are playing again tonight. Well, leading Matt Dermody makes his 12th appearance. He had sufficient time to warm up, so he enters this ball game to face Wellington Castillo.
Matt pitched in the game last night, faced one batter. That was Chris Davis. Hit him, and then his night was over. So he's fresh. You know, you never want to see that from a starter, especially the way Marcus was throwing. Looked like he brought his 8th game tonight. 3 strikeouts already. Now the bullpen's going to be taxed. Just the 2nd inning. They have some reinforcements over the last couple of days.
Carlos Ramirez came up last night. He pitched 2 innings in last night's game. The Blue Jays called up Luis Santos today. So now the Blue Jays have, you see tomorrow showing Luis Rivera where it hits Stroman right on that right elbow. His pitching elbow. The Blue Jays have now used 59 players. That's a franchise record for a single season. 1-2 to Castillo. Inside. Pat mentioned Dermody came into the game last night and he was ahead of Chris Davis 1-2, and then hit right in the middle of the back. So that put 2 men aboard in the 9th inning with nobody out. Danny Barnes came in and put out the fire. Two. Checked his swing.
Blue Jays used 5 relievers last night. 13 innings in that ball game after Joe Biagini gave him 7 really good innings. So they brought up Santos, who was a starter down in AAA. So they've got some length in that bullpen. Looks like they might be covered.
Full count, 2 outs. The runners will be off on the pitch. Mancini from second. And there's a ball pulled well foul. Trumbo is the runner at first, and they'll retreat to their respective bases. Castillo's got a 4-game hit streak. He is 9 for his last 16 with a double, 2 home runs, and 6 ribbies.
He thought he had the game winner last night on a pitch from Danny Barnes. The ball was caught by Hernandez in the outfield to end that 9th inning and send it to extra innings. Got some power the other way now.
Another 3-2 pitch. Dermody to Castillo. Line drive to right. Bautista's got a beat on him. Makes the catch. Dermody comes in and saves a couple of base runners for Marcus Stroman. So we have played 2 innings. No score here in Baltimore.
The code MBJ5673 to earn my Blue Jays points just for watching the broadcast. The entry box can be found on your My Blue Jays homepage, and the code must be entered by 4 a.m. Buck.
Thank you very much, Arash. And it is a misty night here in Baltimore. We played a couple of innings, no score yet. Of course, Marcus Stroman out of the ball game. Unfortunately, got hit on the right elbow on a line drive off the bat of Mark Trumbo. He wanted to continue. There's no doubt about it. He said, at least let me throw a pitch. Let me see what it feels like. But DeMarlo Hale, the manager, and Pete Walker, the pitching coach, and George Poulos, the trainer, all intervened, and I think that's the right move. First thing they got to do is have an X-ray.
Yeah. Before you throw a pitch or before you continue, you got to see if there's any damage inside there.
He's much too valuable to take a chance on one game. Luke Maile checks his swing and fouls it off. Maile, as we mentioned, 0 for 2 last night. Luke is making his 30th start behind the plate for the Blue Jays this season. Luke was picked up on the waiver wire way back in April from Tampa Bay. Luke had knee surgery, and what he told me, he said it couldn't have gone better. He said he walked out of the hospital, started his rehab. It was as good as he had hoped for.
A little meniscus tear in the back knee.
Yeah, they just cleaned it up, and he said I felt it a lot, and it was interesting. He said I felt it more while I was hitting than I did while I was catching. Didn't have much strength on that back leg.
He said there was nothing in my legs to control the bat. That's where you get your power. That's where you get your swing started from. The lower half, and if you don't have that, all you end up doing is swinging with your upper half. There's no power.
Fouls this one back. Miley continues to work at a very good pace. He has 4 straight ground ball outs.
From 0-2 to 3-2. This is his MO. This is what he does. He throws a lot of pitches. Does not get deep into ball games because his pitch count gets up there very quickly. So you got to wait him out.
The cutter for the strikeout. One away. Second strikeout for Miley. In case you weren't with us last night, it was a terrific game. Defensive plays all over the diamond, but this was a special one by Steve Pearce.
Jonathan Scope, who would end up being the hero of the ball game, has his at-bat end by that great play by Steve Pearce. It was Scope who made a great play to save it for them. Later in the game, in the 9th inning, Scope would win it in the 13th. Pearce was also a victim of a great defensive play by Trey Mancini, the left fielder. That could have won the game.
That was in the 13th inning with a man at second. 2-0. Curveball in there for a strike. Yeah, there were several good defensive plays. Pearce starting just for the 4th time last night at first base. Of course, he knows this ballpark very well, having played for the Orioles during 2 different stints.
He did a good job of getting over to the wall, first of all, and then reading it, and then he was able to give up his body, jump into the stands to make that catch. And then the heads-up play to jump out of the stands and make a throw. There was a runner on base.
Manny Machado at third. Takes his time, throws a strike across the diamond. We had mentioned Machado coming up as a 19-year-old after Buck Showalter said, you know what, we're going to need Manny Machado to play third base for us. He was playing shortstop in the minor leagues. They made the transition and put him over to third base. I think he played about 20 games at third base that year. And then they took him right to the big leagues.
You know, I've been watching third basemen for a long time, and the ones that I have seen up close and personal, he's the second best throwing third baseman that I've seen. Scott Rowland by far was the best. I don't think I can recall any time that Rowland threw a ball away. Everything was right in the chest. Manny Machado's the same way. He's accurate and everything. It's a good throw over to the first baseman, high enough for him to handle it.
That is a high pop-up off the bat of Josh Donaldson. Davis, the first baseman, makes the catch in fair territory. Wade Miley has retired 7 in a row. Stroman was the starting pitcher for the Blue Jays, and he got off to a great start. He retired the first 4 batters he faced. He gave up a single to Trey Mancini, then struck out Chris Davis, and then Mark Trumbo hit a line drive that hit Stroman on the right elbow, his pitching elbow. He was knocked to the ground. He got up and he tried to lobby his way back into throwing another pitch, but DeMarlo Hale, the acting manager, and pitching coach Pete Walker and the trainer George Poulos all pulled the plug on the outing, and that was the right thing to do. He got smoked on his pitching.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because it looked like he had a good slider tonight. He was locating it against these Baltimore Orioles hitters. He had 3 strikeouts already with 2 outs in the 2nd inning.
Struck out Beckham, Jones, and Chris Davis. This is Seth Smith, number 9 hitter. He lines it. Another nice play by Darwin Barney. Barney made a nice grab of a liner off the bat of Manny Machado, and this time he takes a hit away from Seth Smith.
You know, it's a little chilly tonight, and those line drives have a way of just buzzing up your hand. So you got to catch it in the webbing, and Darwin Barney, is sure-handed as they come at second base, catches it in the webbing and takes another hit away from Seth Smith. See those infielders, they don't put the glove all the way on their wrist. They want a little bit of movement in that glove.
Back to the top of the order, the leadoff man Tim Beckham takes a breaking ball down and in for ball 1. Beckham struck out against Stroman his first time up. Check swing was called on appeal with the first base umpire. Matt Dermody came in to retire Wellington Castillo with 2 aboard in the 2nd after Stroman was hit with that line drive. There's a good pitch down and away for strike.
At 93, that's where he needs to live right there. It says my slider's been better. I think Matt's going to get better the more he pitches at the major league level.
I agree with you, and I think it's often the case with left-handers where they just have a chance to hit some innings. Yeah, Darwin Barney is talking with the umpire at second, said, "Hey Jerry, I know you got hit by that pitch last time, but I've taken a couple of hot smashes already tonight."
Yeah, that's about 3 pitches in a row where he's taking the glove off in between those pitches to make sure that hand is, he's got some feeling in it. Again, it's a cool night, it's a cold night, and those line drives, they hurt.
Yeah, he's feeling the effect of it, and that's Jerry Davis, the crew chief, the umpire at second base. He got hit by a pitch last night that nobody fouled off, and the catcher didn't touch it. Got hit right in the chest, maybe in that left arm, but he took a shot last night. So he can sympathize with Darwin. 2-2. Inside, it's a full count. Manny Machado is on deck, and he hit that first line drive that Darwin Barney caught back in the first inning. Ground ball. Donaldson, 360, throws in time. 2 away.
The all-new 2017 Civic Si. When it leads off, it leads for good. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
And then a terrific job here in Baltimore, revitalizing the Inner Harbor area. Camden Yards was built at the railroad yards here in Baltimore, not but a few blocks away from the Inner Harbor. And they've maintained the warehouse out beyond the seats in right field, the B&O Railroad Warehouse. It has become the offices of the ball club, and there are restaurants and there are bars inside that building on the lower floors, but upstairs that's the executive offices of the Orioles baseball club. Manny Machado, 1-0 count. Now it's 1-1.
Remember years ago when we used to stay at the Marriott, basically across the street from this area here, and word came down in the 80s that they were going to turn this into a baseball field. We're like, are you kidding me? I mean, it was like falling apart.
Fly ball into center, not deep. Kevin Pillar coming in a few steps. Manny Machado flies out to center. Matt Dermody has faced 4 batters, and they have all been retired. Walked his first time up against Wade Miley, the left-hander, but he has worn out left-handed pitching this season. When you look at the average for hitters against left-handed pitching in the American League, Avisail Garcia and Jose Abreu are 1-2. And then the Blue Jays, Justin Smoke and Kendrys Morales, they're 3-4. So they've been doing a number against the Southpaws. So tonight, Smoke has walked and Morales has grounded out, but you can bet before the night is over they're going to put a good swing on one of these Miley pitches. 7
home runs this season versus left-handed pitching for Smoke. 6 home runs for Morales versus left-handed pitching. Those are the leaders for the Blue Jays when it comes to batting against left-handed pitching this season. And through all of that, if you look at the numbers, the Blue Jays have had problems with left-handed starters this year.
They have not fared well.
They've got a lot of right-handed batters, a lot of right-handed pop, and their switch hitters really hit well against lefties, but yet the record isn't very good.
11-21 this season against left-handed starters. That's the fewest wins in the American League against lefty starters. Cleveland has 29 wins against the left-handed starters, but they're 29-23. Get a steady diet of lefties. Cleveland's 29 wins. That's the most wins by a ball club against lefty starters. The Blue Jays have the fewest at 11. 3-1 pitch to Smoke. Right on the inside corner. Jose Bautista had an infield single his first time up. Jose did not start in the game last night. He came on as a pinch hitter. There's another cutter for a strikeout. 3 strikeouts for Miley. They've all been on that cut fastball.
Yeah, he's been going to it, to those righties, inside cutters. Right there, you see the movement right at the end to take it out of the strike zone. 3rd strikeout of the night for Miley. There's the rotation. It's just cutting. There's a little spin. It doesn't look like a slider that has a little bit more spin. There's just a little bit of spin to give it a little bit of movement.
Jose Bautista fouls back the first pitch. You could relate that cutter to a football spiral pass. It's the same kind of spin. It just kind of bores in on the right-handed hitters, and Miley's been able to get a little drop on it as well.
It's a tough pitch to control and make do what you want it to do, and that is just to move right at the end. Late movement.
1-2 to Bautista. Jose has the only hit for the Blue Jays. It was an infield hit off the shortstop's glove. Upstairs, now 2-2. Wade Miley works very quickly. Foul ball. Just outside the bag at 3rd.
That's how you hit that cutter. You get it off your hands. Let's take a look at the scouting report and what else does Wade Miley throw? Fastball, slider, cutter, curveball, and changeup. Just a little bit of everything for him. He works quickly, distributes it pretty much fairly even where you want to do that. More fastballs.
Trying to go upstairs, and Bautista hits it to the shortstop. This time he makes the play. 2 away. A strikeout and a ground out for Miley. You saw that wide assortment of pitches, and Miley's 30 years old now. He's pitched a long time, so given that wide assortment, something's not working, you can switch gears, go to another pitch, and try it for a while. Kendrys Morales grounded out to 3rd base. He's only at bat. Takes one off the plate away. The rain has picked up a little bit here in the 4th inning. As we mentioned, it's been raining all afternoon. And you can see the umbrellas have come back out. Can't see the ball game. Gotta have sight lines. 2-0 now to Morales.
Jays fans, they're not going anywhere.
That's a high fly ball, skied to right field. Smith now moves over to his right and makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down. No problem for Miley. Middle of the 4th, no score here in Baltimore.
meniscus tear in his right knee. It had gotten so bad in July that Maile would feel the knee lock up on him, and each time he'd activate it, he'd pop it to get it going. Now, after the procedure, he was throwing flat ground within 10 days, hitting within 3 weeks, then the long 2-week rehab assignment in the minors. Maile says the difference physically now is huge. He's happy he had the surgery and feels much better after games. Earlier in the summer, fighting to get through it, just trying to play. The pain was pretty pronounced, especially after games. And Buck, you guys talked about it. He really felt it in the at-bats more than catching behind the plate.
Yeah, and he always talked about having that right knee be the issue. That's his back leg, and that's where you get all your power. That's your foundation from which you push off of. And he wasn't 100%, and it was hurting him at the plate.
So, you ask, well, why didn't he have it done earlier? Well, when you come to a new team, what's the last thing you want to do?
Yeah, I'm hurt. I can't play.
I can't go. You want to prove that you belong here, and you want to prove to your new team that you're a gamer and you can fight through some injuries. He just couldn't get it done because of that knee.
Jonathan Scope cues it off the end of the net. That's a foul ball. Yeah, and Arash talked about Luke had to pop that knee, and I can relate to it because cartilage would catch in your joint, and you just have to get to a spot where, okay, now it's popped and I'm freed up, and then they'd be fine to catch.
But oh, the pain. Oh, that hurts when that flap gets stuck in your joint and locks up your knee. Surprised he was able to catch the demanding position of catcher for as long as he did with that injury.
A little looping pop up into the outfield. Kevin Pillar, a long run. He slides and makes the catch. He was deep to respect the power of Jonathan Scope. Scope popped it up into shallow center, and Pillar made a nice running catch.
A little softer landing for Pillar on this wet grass tonight than the Rogers Center when he made that great catch in right center field. Gets a read on it, and that's his ball all the way. Sliding catch as Barney peels out of the way.
Yeah, just enough moisture on this wet grass too that he slides and has no friction. And tell you what, it's a joy for Pillar to get off that turf and make these sliding catches on natural grass. Adam Jones struck out against Stroman his first time up, squares to bunt, and has to jump back from that inside heater. Matt Dermody has retired all 5 Orioles he's faced since coming into the game. Off the end of the bat, Barney slides, and he's not going to make it. Jones runs too well. They were playing Jones to pull. He hit that ball off the end of the bat, and the defense was set up for a hard hit ball, and that wasn't.
Similar type of play last night where Darwin had to get the angle on that ball into the outfield just to catch it. He does a heck of a job just to get over there and catch it. And then he tries to go over first base, and it's bang, bang. Short hops it to Smoke, but Jones runs too well. He's going to beat it out for a hit, but what an effort again by the right side of the infield of the Blue Jays.
Fly ball to center. Mancini flies out to Pillar.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Luis Santos just called up from the minor league, starting to loosen up. So he is getting loose behind Matt Dermody. No score. Sound familiar?
Last night, like 24 hours ago.
First game was 11-8 Blue Jays. They won it on Thursday night. Oh, nice block by Maile. That ball barely hit the dirt beyond the grass, and he was able to block it and keep Jones at first.
If it hits the lip, you never know where it's going to go. If it's going to bounce up or if it's going to skid along the dirt area. Looks able to keep that ball in front of him. Keep Jones over at first base. What a nice job for Matt Dermody.
Two 2-0 to Chris Davis. It was a breaking ball for a strike. Dermody faced Davis last night, as we mentioned earlier. The only batter he faced in that game last night. He had him 1-2 and then hit him with a fastball right in the middle of his back. And that was the only batter he faced. Foul tip. That ball really got in his kitchen.
And they want to go up and into him. That was another one that came up and in, and the check swing was strike two. The same type of pitch that he hit him with last night. I think that's where you have to pitch Chris Davis. He's so big and he's so strong. You got to pitch him up and you got to pitch him in so he can't extend those big arms through the baseball.
Reaches for that one and fouls it out of play. Two-2 pitch. Just off the plate wide. Full count, 2 outs. Adam Jones, a runner at first, will be moving on the pitch. Smoke has backed up behind him. He gave himself a little more range with the left-handed batting Chris Davis at the plate.
Luis Rivera moving his infielders around. He moved Donaldson a couple of steps to his right. They put Smoke behind the runner.
There goes Jones, cut on and missed. Davis strikes out. Nice outing for Matt Dermody. If that's it, he allowed just 1 hit. Strikes out Davis. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell in the Samsung broadcast studio. Years old. He began his career with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He came to the Baltimore Orioles last July in a July trade deadline move. Got us to a good start. ERA 2.82 through his first 11. Then he really had some problems in his next 10, but he's kind of sorted things out once again, Pat.
You know, he's kept the ball in the ballpark over those last 6 starts. He's only given up 2 home runs, but his pitch counts get elevated because he throws a lot of pitches. Over those last 6 starts, 4 times he pitched 5 innings or less. But he has won 4 and lost 1 with no decision over those last 6 starts. So Blue Jays are doing the same thing. They're making him work. Now they just need to break through.
Kevin Pillar's the batter. Motley's ahead 0-2. We mentioned Miley began his career with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Came to the big leagues for the first time in 2011. Overall pitched 4 seasons for Arizona, went 38 and 35 as a starter there. Kevin Pillar puts a charge in it. Get up, ball, get up, and gone. Home run for Pillar. He loves hitting against the Orioles. That's the 5th home run Miley has surrendered to the Blue Jays this season.
He loves orange and black, the colors, because he has been raking against him. Miley tried to go back in there with that cutter, 0-2, and missed his spot badly. It was a cutter that was in, but it was up. The cutters earlier in this game with 2 strikes to the righties had been down. Mancini hit the wall hard, and he comes up limping after that. That home run by Pillar. Thought he had a shot at catching it. It looked like he hit something in the wall or something.
Yeah, he went in there full stride. So the Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead.
He's trying to shake it off out in the outfield. First the pitch, cutter, and it's right down Broadway. He hits it hard to left field. Now the question is it high enough to get out? And that's what Mancini did. He ran right into the wall. Banged that knee and ankle.
There's another cutter down and in, and Marnie swings over to the top of it. Mancini made that terrific catch last night in the 9th inning. And he's still feeling the effects of banging that right leg into the wall.
Trying to shake it off. Watch the right leg. He made the great catch last night. He checks one more time to see where the wall is, and boom, the knee goes right into it.
Barney swings and misses. He strikes out. 4 strikeouts for Miley. That's the first out here in the 5th. Kevin Pillar now has hit in 8 straight games. That is his 69th hit against the Orioles, the most hits he has gotten against any one team in his career. Kendrys Morales said, "Man, you're a big, strong guy like me."
Yeah, he looks good at the plate again. You know, relaxed, not swinging at pitches out of the strike zone. And when he gets his pitch, he's hitting it hard.
Brian Goins, the shortstop, he grounded out to second base. Back in the 2nd inning. Somebody must have made a nice catch in the stands of that foul ball.
Right below us. Giving them standing ovations, so it must have been a great catch. We can't see it.
A ball and 2 strikes. Owen stays alive, gets a piece of that low fastball. Kevin Pillar, it's his 14th home run, continuing to extend his career high in home runs. Previous high back in 2015, he had 12. Let's see. Pillar, like we mentioned, the Orioles, he has more hits against the Orioles since the start of 2015 than anybody in baseball. He now has 62 hits against Baltimore over that stretch. And he's got 69 for his career. Career .316 hitter against the O's.
He's had a nice series. Couple of hits in the first game. 3 more in yesterday's game, and he's got another one tonight.
Cohen strikes out, back-to-back strikeouts after the leadoff home run here in the 5th. So Luke Maile, the catcher. Fly ball to center. Jones is there, and Wade Miley. We'll go to the bottom of the fifth. New pitcher in the ballgame will be the newest Blue Jay, Luis Santos. But the Blue Jays have a lead thanks to Kevin Pillar. He jumps all over this cutter and drills it over the wall in left. Home run number 14 for Pillar.
Number 9th, all kids 14 and under at the Blue Jay game will receive this Blue Jays poster. It's presented by Boston Pizza. BlueJays.com for tickets, but note the 4:07 game time. Buck.
Indeed, the Tigers are in town, and that giveaway for that great poster will be given away, but it is a later start, so make sure you check your schedule. Lots of kids show up at Rogers Center on Saturdays, and it'll be a good turnout once again. How about another Major League debut for the Blue Jays? Luis Santos will become the 60th pitcher or 60th player for the Blue Jays this season.
Well, and we hope it's as good as the Major League debut we saw last night from Carlos Ramirez. Santos is a starter. He was in 28 games this past season in AA and AAA. 21 of those were starts. He had a 3-13 record and an ERA of 4.16. 102 strikeouts in 114 innings pitched. He had fewer hits than innings pitched. He's a strike thrower, doesn't throw that hard, is always around the plate, and he'll give you innings. That's what they're looking for. He was a starter in the minors, looking for some innings out of the bullpen.
First pitch, strike to Mark Trumbo. Santos is not a kid. He's 26 years old. He has pitched for the Pirates organization. He spent some time with the Royals and came to the Blue Jays in 2015.
Well, if they can get some innings out of him tonight, let's say 3 or 4 innings, they should be in good shape. After Stroman was knocked out of that second inning, Matt Dermody came in and did a heck of a job. 2 1/3 innings, just gave up that scratching field hit. Now if they can get 3, maybe even 4 from Santos, they should be okay.
High fastball.
Yeah.
Matt Dermody, 2 1/3, just 1 hit. That is not his career high in innings. He had a 3-inning outing earlier, but he was terrific. Came in the second and got out of that inning. Well, what a good slider for Santos. His first big league strikeout. He gets the home run leader from last year, Mark Trumbo.
There you go. Throw that one out also. We saw the strikeout from Ramirez last night in his first at bat. They don't know anything about Santos. making his major league debut. You could probably go down and ask some of the minor leaguers who are up here for Baltimore, what does he have? Well, he's got a pretty decent looking breaking ball. That one right off the table to get Trumbo.
Wellington Castillo.
You know, when you throw a breaking ball like that, you want to get some depth on it, get some movement on it. You can use it as a strikeout pitch. That was a pretty good one, especially to hitters who know nothing about you.
Santos has pitched in winter ball in his native Dominican Republic. His last start for Buffalo came on August 25th against Rochester. In Rochester, he went 7 innings, allowed a run on 5 hits.
After some beautiful pitches to Trumbo to get the strikeout, he falls behind Castillo now 3-0.
His season high in pitches was 110 pitches. That was on the 7th of July in a 7-inning outing. There's a strike. Three and one. Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead thanks to Kevin Pillar's 14th home run of the season. There's a deep drive to center, but Pillar is going to have a shot at it. He makes the catch. 2 away.
Canada's favorite car cheers for Canada's favorite team, Honda. Proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Third game here in Baltimore, and it has been raining all afternoon. The reports are that it's supposed to be beautiful tomorrow. That would be nice. A good way to wrap up this 4-game series here in Baltimore. The Blue Jays will go to Boston for a 3-game series starting Monday night. The Red Sox lost to the Yankees 5-1 this afternoon. Houston, in their return to their home ballpark, Minute Maid Park, playing the Mets in a doubleheader. They won 12-8 in the first game.
They faced Matt Harvey in game 1.
That?
Isn't that something?
After Hurricane Harvey did its thing to that community, Matt Harvey, in his return to the active roster for the Mets, made the start.
And he didn't fare well, which you kind of expected, didn't you, when the team went back to Houston? A pitcher by the name of Harvey, he's not going to have any fun.
Seth Smith lines it foul. The Astros players, coaches, and managers got a chance to go home, and they had the off day on Friday so they could kind of help out their family, help out friends, and just volunteer to help out. They were scheduled to give away 10,000 Carlos Correa jerseys today, but they donated those jerseys to flood victims, as many people have lost everything.
I heard they went down to the convention center and helped out some of the flood victims.
Little tapper back to the mound. Santos swiped at it and missed it, and it's going to cost him a base hit. Santos trying to backhand that little bouncing ball to the third base side of the mound. He swiped at it, missed it, and by that time Seth had enough time to get to first.
He got the infield hop. He falls off the mound towards first base, and then the infield hop, he just can't pick it up. He was the only guy who was going to have a chance at making this play. Sinker away, swipes at it, and it looks like they gave him an error on that.
They sure did. That's a tough break for Seth Smith. You'd think the hometown scorekeeper might give him the benefit of the doubt, but it's an error charge to the pitcher. Tim Beckham, the leadoff man, fouls it up. 2 outs, bottom of the 5th. In case you're just joining us, the starter Marcus Stroman left the game in the 2nd inning after getting hit by a line drive off the bat of Mark Trumbo, and Stroman got hit squarely on his pitching elbow, and as much as he wanted to continue, the manager Marlo Hale, pitching coach Pete Walker, and the trainer George Poulos all made the right decision. I'm sure he's already gone to have x-rays, and they're having a look at that elbow. And Marcus wanted to continue. He said, let me throw a pitch, let me see how it feels. But I think the right move was to get him out, get him checked.
Why? What difference does it make? They have, I'm sure, those facilities right here at the ballpark that you can get an x-ray, get an idea if there's any kind of fracture or anything in there. Hope not.
Absolutely. He's been pitching so well, and you'd hate to see have his season come to an end like that.
Hopefully it's just a bruise or a contusion or something. You know, he might miss a couple of days here or there, that he can continue to pitch and finish strong.
Tim Beckham with a 1-1 count. Seth Smith at first. Got missed. It's 1-2 now. Luis Santos, 26 years old, making his major league debut. He has started for Buffalo. He's started ever since the 26th of April. He's had just one relief appearance since that time. And a looping ball into left field. Steve Pearce will get there and make the catch, and Santos has a big league inning under his belt. He struck out the first big league hitter he faced, Mark Trumbo, a former home run champ. Extras, like extra space to stretch out on your flight. Find more about the benefits of premium economy at westjet.com/plusfare. Saturday night in Baltimore, a third game of a 4-game series, and it's been a terrific couple of games, the last 2 games. 1-0 in 13 last night. It's 1-0 Blue Jays as we go to the 6th. Steve Pearce will lead things off. Wade Miley has allowed a run on 2 hits. The Orioles have no runs on 3 hits. The only run of the game, Kevin Pillar's solo home run leading off the 5th.
You know, we talked about the hitting that these 2 clubs can do and have done in the past, but it's the pitching that has taken over the last 2 nights. Kevin Gausman was outstanding yesterday, and then their bullpen, and of course Biagini and the rest of the bullpen for the Blue Jays. 1-0 in 13 innings.
The Orioles bullpen threw 7 innings of 2-hit ball, and the Blue Jays bullpen matched him almost pitch for pitch. Aaron Luke suffered the loss, his 3rd loss of the season. Luke gave up Manny Machado's infield single, then the game-winning RBI double to Jonathan Scope in the 13th.
So after that game last night, the Orioles went down to the minor leagues and got 2 more fresh arms. That's what you can do in September.
Steve Pearce takes the leadoff walk. That's the first walk of the night for Miley. That has been a problem. We mentioned 80 walks leading the American League, and that's the second walk. Excuse me, he walked Justin Smoke in the first inning, so he has walked just 2. But it's a leadoff walk here in the 6th.
Yeah, right in front of Donaldson and Smoke and Bautista. That could be a run for the Blue Jays.
Josh Donaldson, strikeout and a pop-up. Miley's got a terrific pickoff move. You don't have to stray far for him to pick you off.
24 for 54 in attempted steals against Miley in his career. And 5 for 9 this season. He's picked off 28 base runners over his career.
There's a base hit for Donaldson. Pearce will take the turn and they stop him. Beckham cuts it off. Pearce did the right thing. He forced Mancini to make a good throw to the cutoff man, and he did. So Donaldson has his first hit of the night. Leadoff walk and a single.
Remember, Mancini crashed into the wall last inning, so he might be a little sore going to his left. So Pearce is going to challenge him to get over there and cut the ball off and force him to stop. He's trying to go first to third on a base hit to left field, but then wisely goes back to the base. Blue Jays are in business here.
Justin Smoke waves at that first offering. Smoke a walk and a strikeout. Struck out swinging in the 4th. Slow breaking ball. Smoke has 2 career home runs against Miley, and they both come this year. Then a chopper toward third. Machado can't make the play. I think Machado thought Miley was going to pick it up, and he kind of relaxed, and then Miley gave up on the play, and it kind of cost up Manny Machado.
You got to know your fielders, and Machado knows that Miley's a pretty decent fielder, that he's active off that mound. Watch him at third base. The ball is topped with 2 strikes by Smoke. He stops momentarily and then tries to go again, and by then it's a little bit too late. Tries to come back and transfer the ball into his hand to get the out over at first base, but he drops it, so it'll be an infield hit for Smoke. That's Richard Rodriguez, another arm that was just called up yesterday.
All the teams in baseball are expanding their rosters on September 1st, so there's a lot of new arms in their bullpens, and a lot of teams really utilize that. Last night, the Angels used 7 relief pitchers in a 9-inning game. And they lost 10-9. Nobody out. The bases are loaded for Jose Bautista. Off-speed pitch is out in front. Walk, single, single for the Blue Jays here in the 6th against Miley. Oh, 0-2. Last night was an interesting night, a 1-0 game in 13 innings. The teams combined to go 0 for 24 with runners in scoring position. Breaking ball in the dirt. Prior to that game last night, the last major league game that had both teams go a combined 0 for 24 or worse with runners in scoring position, May 26, 2008. The Angels and the Tigers combined to go 0 for 24 in a 1-0 12-inning walk-off win for the Angels. Bautista swings and strikes out. Miley bounced that breaking ball in the dirt, and Bautista went after it. 6 strikeouts for Miley.
Just a little bit too anxious right there, wanting to drive in a run and do something to help the ball club out. Miley's going to bounce that breaking ball, and he gets the swing from Bautista. 1 down.
Kendrys Morales now with 1 out.
Got to make him come to you now. The bases are loaded. Pressure's on him to come to you.
First pitch fastball. The Blue Jays have hit 6 grand slams this season. Morales has one of those. Fly ball deep to right. Pierce is tagging at third. Smith makes the catch. He'll go to third with the throw as Pierce comes in. With run number 2 for the Blue Jays, Morales with a sac fly to deep right.
Situational hitting, that's what you need. You got to get something on the board. Bases loaded, nobody out. Morales will pick up his RBI, his 71st of the season, driving that ball into the outfield.
Donaldson moves from second to third on a deep fly ball to right. And now it is 2-0. That leadoff walk coming right around to score. Kevin Pillar homered to start the 5th inning.
Right man at the right spot. This is the guy who has worn out the Orioles over the last couple of years.
Fly ball to right. Smith is going to get there, and that'll end the inning. But the Blue Jays get another run. A leadoff walk to Steve Pierce comes around to score on a Morales sacrifice fly. The Blue Jays lead it 2-0.
At Bat mobile app. You can stay connected to the game's best players all season long with game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcast stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com At Bat today, your #1 app for live baseball. Now, guys, you're talking about the Astros returning to Houston, spending time yesterday with the folks who have been displaced in the aftermath of the hurricane. These are the shoes that Joe Musgrove took to the convention center, got them autographed by the kids he met yesterday, and he's wearing the cleats through the 3-game series against the Mets this weekend. How about that?
Good for Joe. Joe was a former Blue Jays farmhand and trying to help lift the spirits of the displaced people down in Houston, and it's been a horrific story. Got 50 inches of rain because of Hurricane Harvey, and many people have lost everything. And the Astros, they've done a nice job of trying to get out and boost the spirits of that community.
Saw some of the pictures that the players took out of the plane as they were landing in Houston, and wow, devastating.
Manny Machado leading off the bottom of the 6th here. The Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. One to Machado. There's the strike.
Just heard over the loudspeaker, Buck, that Marcus Stroman's diagnosis is a right elbow contusion, and X-rays were negative, so that's good news.
That's great news, indeed. Off-speed pitch pulled in the hole at shortstop. Goins throws on the run on the money to get Machado. Well, let's go back to the 2nd inning with 2 outs. Mark Trumbo at the plate with Stroman on the mound, and this is some kind of hot line drive coming right back to the mound.
You know, and there's nothing you can do about that if you're Marcus Stroman. He wanted that slider down and away, and it's over the middle of the plate, and Trumbo is so big and so strong. He hit that off the elbow. Initially, it looked like it got it, and that's where you fracture your elbow. It hits so hard. But the X-rays, preliminary X-rays say no fracture, which is great news. Just a bruise, so hopefully he's just going to miss, you know, a couple of days, and he'll be able to make a start.
Yeah, there's just no way of telling how it's going to react. There's obviously going to be some swelling. They're trying to ice it down as much as they can to keep the swelling to a minimum. But the good news is, indeed, the X-rays were negative, so they will try to quiet that contusion down and then make assessments as we go along. Jonathan Schoop, he's gone 0 for 2. Off-speed pitch. Schoop hit a shallow pop-up into center that Pilar had to run down. He made a sliding catch to retire Schoop in the 4th. Jonathan grounded out to short his first time. Luis Santos, 26-year-old, we had mentioned that he signed initially with the Pirates, played a while with the Kansas City Royals in the minor leagues. This is his first big league appearance. Takes something off that breaking ball, just 77 miles an hour. That's his 2nd strikeout.
Advantage to the pitcher first time around when you're facing someone for the first time. The hitters don't know how your breaking ball works. Takes a little something off of that. He's got a lot of depth on that breaking ball. So the advantage, I think, goes to that pitcher as you get him in there and let him go to work against these right-handed hitters. Another one of those young players for the Blue Jays who does not look out of sync right here. Looks like he belongs.
Well, we have talked about this in the past with these young Latin players. They play winter ball, and in this case in the Dominican Republic for Santos. And people don't understand how competitive winter ball is, especially in the Dominican Republic right now. And these young guys get a chance to play all winter long in very heated situations. It's very competitive, and you know, those winter ball teams, they're all about winning. So you get exposed to big league hitters down there. So when they get up here to the big leagues, it's just like they've been here before. I was talking with Brett Anderson, who will start the game tomorrow. Rain here, and there was no batting practice, so we had a chance to talk a lot. That's Tim Meza, who is down there. Dominic Leone's also standing by ready to throw. But in my conversation with Anderson, we were talking about winter ball. In my generation, how competitive it was. And it was a great experience. Jones takes a breaking ball for strike 2. I told Brett Anderson Reggie Jackson was my teammate in winter ball. He goes, the Reggie Jackson? He played winter ball?
The only one we know. Of course, everybody used to. You can see these right-handed batters having problems picking up that breaking ball.
Jones stays back and loops this one in direct. Went to the well once too often to a veteran hitter, and Jones gets his 2nd hit of the night. throw him that slow curveball, and Jones can smile about it. He just served it into right.
Well, he's saying I hit it the way you threw it. Took a little something off. Maybe quick pitched him a little bit, and you can see him laughing up the first base line, having something to say to Santos. You threw it softly, and I hit it softly.
2 outs now. Trey Mancini. It's just a 2-0 ball game, and there's so much power in each of these lineups that can evaporate in a hurry. And because of that, the Blue Jays have double barrel action in their bullpen. Mancini with 23 home runs. Extra velocity on that fastball.
Yeah, he's going to have to mix up the fastball and the breaking ball. Can't just go up there and keep throwing sliders. So he reach back for a little something extra there. 93 with that fastball.
Well, Santos has an advantage here somewhat, even though it's his first big league game. Luke Maile playing in Buffalo too, so you can bet they work together a bit.
That looked like the same pitch that was just called a strike right at the knees. Maile did a good job of framing it up for him.
Done a nice job Santos has in changing the velocities of his breaking ball. He struck out Scope on a 77-mile-an-hour curveball. Maile and Santos doing a good job of mixing the pitches. That one gets away. Jones will go to second. That ball went right through the legs of Luke Maile and caromed off the umpire's shin guard. Back to the screen, and Jones moves up on the wild pitch.
And now Luke Maile go out and just, as that ball gets behind him, it moves Jones to second base, and now he'll go out there just to confirm what sign they're going to use with that runner at second base now. I thought they might try and elevate a fastball at some point there. Everything was down in that at bat against Mancini. I thought they might try and elevate a fastball at some point.
The first reaction when you play in this ballpark, because it is such a hitter-friendly ballpark, is keep the ball down. But you're right. I think that might have been a good time to elevate one, see if he could chase it. 3-2, 2 outs. The Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. Popped up. Maile, the catcher, in foul ground, makes the catch. Mancini pops out, and the Orioles leave a base runner in scoring position. We've played 6 complete here in Baltimore, and the Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. Arias throws an even 100 pitches. He's on the hook for the loss. He goes 6 innings. 4 hits, 2 earned runs, walked a couple, and struck out 6. Kevin Pillar hit a solo home run off of Miley, and Kendrys Morales had a sac fly. That's the only scoring in this game.
New pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles. Here's another major league debut right here. This is Richard Rodriguez. 42 games in AAA. There are his numbers for him. He had his contract selected from AAA yesterday from Norfolk, the AAA team. He was a non-roster invitee during spring training this past season for the Orioles. They originally got him from Houston in exchange for cash considerations a couple of Junes ago. Came into this series right here and finishing up his minor league season with some good numbers. Over 10 games in August in AAA. His ERA was under 1.
Began his career in 2010. He was signed as an amateur free agent by the Astros. Darwin Barney jumps on the first pitch. This ball is going to be at the base of the wall. Barney's headed for second. He'll get there with a stand-up double. Leadoff double for Barney here in the 7th.
Well, that's what you do when you're facing someone for the first time. Look, fastball. Gets it over, and Darwin hits it hard to left field. Right to the base of the wall for extra bases. Now the Jays have the leadoff batter on. Barney just couldn't get that ball elevated enough to get it out, but he will stand at second with that leadoff double.
Ryan Goins 0 for 2. Ball 1.
Tell you, the way Ryan has been hitting this season with runners in scoring position, I'm not taking the bat out of his hand. I'm going to let him swing away right here and try and drive him in.
That his 10-game hit streak snapped last night. Ground ball. Barney got a good break. He go to third. Goins is thrown out at first. Productive at bat for Goins. He moves the runner along. So Barney's at third now with 1 out. Blue Jays trying to add to their lead. It's 2-0 here in the 7th inning. Richard Rodriguez making his big league debut will face Luke Maile.
Got to figure out a way to get this run in. Base hit, sacrifice fly. You can even safety squeeze. Infield's got to come in, so Barney's probably going to make the ball go through if they swing away.
Hit him. So that takes a lot of the decisions out of the equation, and Maile exposed that hand to the baseball, got hit on the inside pitch, and goes to first, and George Poulos, the trainer, back out to check on Luke Maile.
Two-seamer trying to come up and in, and exposes those hands again on that inside pitch, and it looks like it got Luke right on the wrist.
Luke says, "I'm okay," and Poulos accepts that answer, heads back to the dugout. So now there are runners at the corners and 1 out. Back to the top of the order, Steve Pearce. He walked in the 6th inning, came around to score on the sac fly. Scored the 2nd Blue Jays run. Steve Pearce 0 for 2. Got to cash in this run from third at least after you get a leadoff double.
And a productive at bat by Goins.
One and 0. Breaking ball downstairs. Rodriguez is 27 years old. He pitched at Norfolk the last 2 seasons, so the Blue Jays minor leaguers that have played at Buffalo would know him, and they would have a scouting report on him.
Fastball slider. He's a strikeout type of pitcher. He had 10 saves this past season, 80 strikeouts in 42 games for the AAA team.
Tough strike right at the bottom of the zone. Pierce hits one down the right side. Long run for Smith, and that's going to be out of play. Foul down the right corner. Pierce taking a page out of Morales' book. Morales hit a sac fly to right field back in the 6th. And that's the approach you want to see in this situation. Hit something in the air to the opposite field.
Well, if you don't know the pitcher, I'm sure Pierce doesn't know anything about Rodriguez. This is his first shot at the major leagues. You want to wait as long as possible. You might have to hit the ball the other way. Got to figure out a way to make contact.
Pops this one up to shallow center. Jones is coming in. Tagging is Barney. He will bluff, and the throw will come all the way home, and Barney has to hold at third. Just wasn't deep enough to take a shot.
Especially you're running on a Gold Glove center fielder. Jones does everything correct. Getting behind that ball and having his momentum come home. He's accurate. Jay's still looking for that first hit with a runner in scoring position.
Adam Jones is a 4-time Gold Glover, and that was just too shallow to send the runner. So now Josh Donaldson. Josh has had an interesting series. He went 1 for 2 in the opener on Thursday night with 3 walks and scored 3 runs. Then he was 0 for 5 last night with a walk. So far tonight he's 1 for 3. Blue Jays would love to add to their lead. They don't come into this ballpark very often and win or lose a game by a score of 1-0 as they did last night, and now it's a 2-0 game in the 7th.
You got to take advantage of those runners on base. The Oriole lineup with all the home runs in there, they can turn a deficit around very quickly. So you have to take advantage of these opportunities when you've got guys on base. Come up with a clutch hit.
Bottom of the 7th, Chris Davis, Mark Trumbull, Wellington Castillo, all power hitters. The scheduled batters. There's a strike. Orioles have had real issues drawing fans to this ballpark, despite the fact they're in a wild card race. Only 14,000 here tonight. But the weather was threatening all afternoon, and quite honestly, it didn't look like they were going to play. Three and 1 to Donaldson.
Good eye. Now you can guess fastball right here. You've got Justin Smoke hitting behind you. They don't want to walk Donaldson, so you got to figure he's going to challenge him with a fastball. There's Smokey, the team leader in home runs and RBIs.
Throws him a fastball. Now it's a full count. Barney led it off with a double. He's at third. Maley got hit by a pitch. He's at first. He will be running on the pitch with 2 outs. It's a full count. Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead.
Surprised they're holding the runner on still at first base.
There goes Maley. High and deep to left, and this one's going to go. Josh Donaldson, a 3-run homer. his 24th of the season, and the Blue Jays get 3 big runs here in the 7th.
That's just what the doctor ordered right there. They needed a hit with runners in scoring position. They didn't get one last night, and they didn't get one tonight until Donaldson steps up. What a great month he had in August, and he starts September with a big one. Big 3-run home run. There was no doubt about that one.
Cool night here in Baltimore, and that ball jumped off his bat. Luke Maile scores. Barney scores. Darwin got it started with a leadoff double, and Donaldson cashes them both in.
3-1 fastball for strike 2. 3-2 fastball. He tried to go back to that same spot and he missed it. That's right where Donaldson loves it, and Josh got all of it.
Smoke hits it on the ground as Beckham is there in the shift, and that'll end the inning. But the Blue Jays get 3 big runs on one swing of the bat. Josh Donaldson's home run, his 24th of the season, 3 RBIs. He now has 61, and the Blue Jays have a 5-0 lead. The game brought to you by the powerful all-new 2017 Civic Type R.
Well, if you were just watching last half inning, you saw this. Fastball to Josh Donaldson, 3-2, and he gets all of it to left field. That is a no-doubter. Trey Mancini can only watch as it goes halfway up the bleachers in left field. Josh's 24th home run of the season. 3 big runs for the Blue Jays, and tonight, that is our drive of the game. Boy, that is so good to see him coming through in those clutch situations like that. You just had a feeling that he was going to hit the ball hard.
Donaldson now with 24 home runs, trying to reach the 30 home run plateau for the 3rd straight season since coming to the Blue Jays. He had a career high of 41 in his MVP season in 2015, hit 37 last year. And this season, he missed 38 games early on with that calf injury, and he's closing in on 30 home runs again.
Such a good player on both sides of the ball. You know, we talk a lot about Manny Machado and Evan Longoria and Adrian Beltre. But Josh Donaldson's in that class too. We never forget about him. He is a two-way player, meaning he's a great defender and a great offensive player.
Since coming to the Blue Jays, he's in 102 home runs. Luis Santos in his big league debut. This is his 3rd inning of relief. He's allowed just 1 hit. He struck out 2. Well, one thing you can't do in a 5-0 game against the Orioles is walk hitters. They've got too many power hitters in their lineup. Come right after him. Chris Davis, Mark Trumbo, Wellington Castillo here in the 7th. It's a high fly ball. Pierce giving chase into foul territory. He is there, and the catch is made in fair territory. Flew back over the foul line. So Davis is retired for the first out in the bottom of the 7th.
That away come back after throwing a couple of changeups that looked like to Davis. Those first 2 pitches, he comes back with that fastball and retires the first batter. I like that they sent him back out there again.
Well, he has been starting. We mentioned the last time he started down in Buffalo, he went 7 innings. And he threw 100 pitches, so pitch count is not an issue with Santos as long as he keeps getting outs. Keep running them out there. Got that fastball inside the Trumbo.
This is the first batter that Santos faced when he came into the game, and he struck out. Mark Trumbo.
First big league strikeout. This is popped up. Smoke, the first baseman calls for it. It's on the outfield grass, 2 away. So Santos has been impressive in his big league debut. And you mentioned it earlier. He looks right at home, doesn't he?
Yeah, he doesn't look that wow factor that you see sometimes when guys are making their big league debut, that they are looking up into the stands and they're looking into the dugout. And this guy is focused on that glove right now, and he looks calm and cool.
Wellington Castillo, the catcher, is 0 for 2.
And you're right, as long as he's in that zone, just keep running him out there. Save that bullpen a couple of innings.
And the Blue Jays will have 4 more games on this road trip. The series finale tomorrow, and then 3 straight in Boston.
And I think it's in the midst of 16 consecutive games for the Blue Jays. So anytime you can bring a kid in like this, the other team is not hitting him, just keep running him out there. Save those innings.
Pretty good pitch. Just off the inside corner. You know, they always say, don't get fooled by a player's performance in spring training or in September. But I think it's a different situation for the Blue Jays because they're playing so many contending teams. Pull to Donaldson. Castillo hit it hard, but right to third, and that'll do it. Luis Santos, 3 strong innings of relief in his major league debut. And the Blue Jays have a 5-0 lead.
Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by award-winning Honda Marine. Great days on the water begin with Honda.
Baltimore, Maryland, home of the Baltimore Orioles in their home ballpark, Oriole Park at Camden Yards. That is Utah Street beyond the seats in right field, and it's a great gathering spot. If you walk down halfway to Utah Street, you'll find Boog's Barbecue, one of the best barbecue sandwiches you'll ever have. Jose Bautista will lead things off. He's 1 for 3 so far.
Might be a little soggy tonight.
A little soggy. Big Boog's there almost every night, welcoming the fans in to have those big barbecue sandwiches. 8th inning, Blue Jays shutting out the Orioles on 4 hits. Richard Rodriguez making his major league debut. Gave up a 3-run home run to Josh Donaldson.
He's going to have to challenge Jose here. 2-0. Get geared up for that fastball.
He was out in front of that fastball and hits it foul into the seats. Another foul back into the seats. Alec Asher just called up from AAA here with the Orioles as they fortify their bullpen even further. Breaking ball inside. Houston Astros playing a doubleheader today. First time back in their ballpark after the hurricane. They won the first game 12-8. It's scoreless top of the 5th. They're playing the Mets. Base hit for Bautista, his 2nd of the game. A leadoff single here in the 8th. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Kevin Pillar hit a solo home run in the 5th. Josh Donaldson hit a 3-run shot in the 7th. Kendrys Morales an RBI on a sac fly. Blue Jays have a 5-0 lead. Pitching change here in Baltimore. Alec Asher coming on. In relief of Richard Rodriguez, Asher 24 appearances so far this season.
Yeah, up and down this year between AAA and the big leagues. Blue Jays got him in a start earlier this season. He was acquired by the Orioles from the Phillies right at the end of spring training this season, and he just recalled today to give them a few more innings out of that bullpen.
Kendrys Morales turns around and bats left-handed for the first time today. He's 0 for 2. He had the sac fly off Miley in the 6th. 8 RBIs for Morales in this 3-game series so far. Game 4 tomorrow.
Asher has started a few games for the Orioles. He has relieved for a few games. He was the International League Pitcher of the Week between August 14th and the 20th. Fastball, curveball, slider, that's what you get from Asher.
One and two, nobody out. Bautista with a base hit. He's 2 for 4. He's at first base. Breaking ball, and Morales strikes out. One out here in the 8th. Kevin Pillar got things started for the Blue Jays. He hit a solo home run leading off the 5th, first run of the ball game. Blue Jays got a run in the 6th on the Morales sac fly and 3 in the 7th on Donaldson's 3-run homer. Breaking ball, just barely foul.
Well, this is an 0-2 pitch from Wade Miley. Trying to get that cutter inside and just couldn't get it in there. Pillar hits it into the 2nd row in left field, triple bases with that home run. He is looking good at the plate right now.
2nd career home run here in this ballpark, Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Fouls off that breaking ball.
See how he waited on that breaking ball? Stayed back, recognized it, just fouled it off.
Pillar's first home run came back in 2015. He hit that off Chris Tillman in a 2-2 ball game. No balls, 2 strikes. Ground ball. Machado will go across the diamond to throw out Pillar. Bautista goes to 2nd.
Asher was originally a Rangers draft pick in 2012. Well, he's had 23 games this year with the Orioles. 6 of them were starts. So he's been used as that guy who bounces back and forth. Buck Showalter has been doing that all season long, using guys with options.
Buck told us not early in the season he thought that pitchers with options were really valuable this year because they have changed the disabled list to 10 days. You can manipulate the roster by putting a guy on a DL, bringing another guy back and forth, and as long as he has options, you can bring him back and forth all season long.
So he was up and down a lot this year, and he was also in the bullpen for a little bit. And Made those 6 starts against competition. One of them was the Blue Jays this year. Throw strikes.
Two balls and a strike to Darwin Barney. Darwin had a leadoff double in the 7th and scored on the Donaldson home run. For Darwin, that's his 10th double of the season. There's a drive to left. Get up, Bob. Get up, Bob. Get up and gone. Darwin Barney, a 2-run home run. The 3rd home run for the Blue Jays tonight.
His last time up, he just missed a home run. That was off of Richard Rodriguez to lead off the 7th inning. He would come around to score on the home run by Donaldson. So he says, you know what, I'll do it myself. 4th home run of the season for Darwin, and it's a big one. Hanging breaking ball, and smiles all around for the Blue Jays in their dugout.
Darwin Barney's last home run came on the 13th of August against Wade LeBlanc of the Pittsburgh Pirates. That was at Rogers Center. 3 of his 4 home runs have come on the road this year.
2-1 cutter. Breaking ball stayed up, and there you go, the finish.
Barney homered against Alex Cobb in Tampa Bay back on the 7th of May. He also had a home run down in Texas against Tyson Ross on the 21st of June. 4 home runs for Barney, and he's gotten a couple of big hits. That leadoff double was a big hit in the 7th. Goins shoots this one to left field. Mancini gets there and makes a running catch. That ends the inning, but the Blue Jays get 2 more innings in the 8th. Darwin Barney hits his 4th home run. 7-0 Jays. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell in the Samsung broadcast studio.
With Sportsnet now, all you need is the internet. Live stream every Blue Jays game, MLB matchup. Let's get your news 24/7 with Sportsnet Central. To sign up and get 7 days free, visit snnow.ca. Buck.
Thank you very much, Arash. And the Blue Jays fans are enjoying this ball game tonight. It is 7-0 Blue Jays as they have pounded out 3 home runs. They have a solo home run, a 3-run home run, and a 2-run home run. A grand slam shy of the home run cycle.
It was 1-0 in the 5th inning. Blue Jays have scored in every inning since the 5th to bust this thing wide open.
Luis Santos. This is his 4th inning of relief. In case you're just joining us, the Blue Jays got a tough break in the 2nd inning. Marcus Stroman was throwing the ball very well and got hit on the right elbow by a line drive off the bat of Mark Trumbull, had to leave the game. But we have heard since that Stroman had X-rays. The X-rays were negative, and the injury is classified as a right elbow contusion. So that's pretty good news for Stroman, and we want to wish him the best and hope that he comes back real soon. Just a matter of calming down that bruised elbow now. Yeah, I mean, he got smoked.
Yeah, get the swelling out of there, and maybe he misses a start, maybe he misses a couple of days. You know he wants to get back out there.
He didn't want to leave. That ball is drilled toward the alley in right field, and this ball is gone. Seth Smith connects for his 13th home run of the season, a leadoff shot here in the 8th.
They got 1 run last night, the Baltimore Orioles, and it was enough to win. That's their first run tonight.
Well, these ball clubs have always been great home run hitting clubs, and Smith connects for his 13th of the season, a high fastball.
Yeah, the first time a pitch was up that high from Luis Santos, and major league hitters hit it, and they hit it far.
Back to the top of the order, Tim Beckham. Shortstop has gone 0 for 3. J.J. Hardy, their regular shortstop, has been out with a fractured wrist, and he's close to being activated. But I don't know how you take Beckham out of the lineup right away.
I was reading today in the paper that he had a little setback. He was swinging the bat and hurt his wrist, and he might have to get a shot in that wrist. So it might be a few more days.
Beckham coming into this game, and he hits in 28 of the 30 games he has played since coming to the Orioles. Buck Showalter has been really happy to ride Beckham during this hot stretch. They put him in the leadoff spot. Santos uses that abbreviated delivery and catches the outside corner for strike 3. Second time Beckham has struck out tonight. Third strikeout for Santos.
Watch that quick pitch, and he throws a fastball right down the middle. Helpless feeling for Beckham. Great night for Luis Santos.
Luis Santos in his big league debut, and he should smile. He's grateful for the opportunity. First time he's had a chance to pitch in the big leagues for the 26-year-old right-hander. He'll turn things over to Dominic Leone coming on. A conversation with Rafi Lopez. These two were together at AAA Buffalo, so Santos has a lot of friends on this roster, and this was his first big league game, and he was impressive. He pitches 3 1/3 is up a run on 2 hits, didn't walk a batter, and struck out 3. And you can bet that he has got some great thoughts right now. His first big league game.
Yeah, well, he's counting down the outs right now because it could be his first big league win if the bullpen can hold on. Dominic Leone has been outstanding this season. 3-0 with a 260 earned run average. He's thrown 62 in the 3rd innings this season. His fastball's been good. His slider has been good. It's been a couple of days since Dominic has worked, so he's had a couple of days off. Last worked in the first game in this series, so he should be fresh.
Something was thrown on the field out in right field, so that's why time was granted. Been cleaned up now. Manny Machado. He's been held hitless tonight. He was robbed of a base hit his first time up. A hot shot that Darwin Barney grabbed at second base. That was headed into the alley in right center. Manny had 4 hits in last night's game. Hitless so far tonight.
Thanks to Darwin Barney. Darwin's had a nice little game, hasn't he?
He sure has. He's done some good things in the field and had a double and a home run at the plate.
Caught a couple of line drives, took some hits away from the Orioles. He almost got Jones on that great play to his left. And then a double and a home run.
Outside. Minnesota Twins, they are playing at home against Kansas City, and right now they lead it 14-0 in the bottom of the 7th. Brian Dozier has hit his 27th home run. Joe Mauer has gone 4 for 4. There's a good slider. The Twins have gone 8 for 11 with runners in scoring position tonight. And they're not going to go away, folks. They keep plugging away.
That is a pesky bunch over there. I'm looking at their score right now, the box score. The starter for the Royals through a 1/3 of an inning gave up 4 runs. The guy who came in after him, the reliever, through 2/3 of an inning, gave up 6. So Minnesota pounced early and often tonight.
10-0 after 2 innings, and then they got 3 in the 4th, a single run in the 5th, and it's 14-0. Jonathan Scope, the next batter.
When I first saw that score, I thought that was Arash's Vikings up 14-0 on your Chiefs.
That's not going to happen. My Chiefs are going to have a good year.
Hey, fellas, in the preseason, that's when the Vikes do their best work, okay?
Preseason's over. Let's go.
Next week. 3-2, 1 out. Blue Jays lead it 7-1. Machado takes ball 4, so Leon walks Machado. Mets in the wild card race, and there are a lot of teams watching the scoreboard now. The Yankees, they beat Boston today, so they have a 1.5 lead over in Minnesota. And Baltimore, the Angels are on the outside looking in so far. The Angels are trailing Texas 3-2, bottom of the 7th. Baltimore losing, of course, to the Blue Jays, and Minnesota, they've got the grip on that second wild card spot as we speak. Wouldn't that be something if the Twins made it into that wild card berth and sent Bartolo Colon to the mound to start the playoffs? How about that? 44-year-old Bartolo Colon.
After Atlanta let him go. Well, tell you, it's going to be a great finish with all of these teams bunched together in the wild card race. There's not much to talk about when it comes to the division.
Hot shot past Donaldson off the bat of Scope. A walk and a single now after the leadoff home run. 1 out, 2 on. don't take anything for granted against this Orioles team.
You know, that's why it's so important for the Blue Jays to keep doing what they were doing offensively, get some add-on runs. You got the 3-run home run by Donaldson, the 2-run home run by Barney, because the Orioles can do this. That one just out of the reach of Josh Donaldson at third base. They can swing the sticks. And with their ability to hit home runs, hit late home runs, they're never out of it.
Adam Jones is 2 for 3 so far tonight. Got a couple of singles. Had an infield single off Darwin Martin's glove and then blooped one into right field. That was off of Santos. Jones pulls it on the ground. Goins second for 1. Barney back to first. Double play, and just like that, the Orioles rally is over. Dominic Leone gets the double play off the bat of Adam Jones, and will go to the 9th. The Blue Jays with a comfortable lead. Right after our ball game, the Dodgers are in San Diego to play the Padres. The pitching matchup, Alex Wood at 14-1 will make his return to the rotation against Ulyss Jacine. Jacine 11-10. Alex Wood has had a terrific season. He and Clayton Kershaw have been 1-2 punch for the Dodgers. How about this? Chance Sisco, the #1 prospect for the Orioles in the minor leagues, making his major league debut, coming on the catch here in the 9th.
A couple other defensive changes. Ryan Flaherty would take over for Manny Machado at third base. And Adam Jones will get the rest of the night off. Day game tomorrow. Joey Rickert will take over in center field. It's always great to see kids getting their chance in the major leagues. Chance Sisco is their #1 prospect, and Buck Showalter said they were going to try and get him in when they could, and this is the best opportunity.
7-1 ball game. You bring him in and you let him get his feet wet in the big leagues. His first opportunity. And how about this? The #9 hitter, the catcher Luke Maile, will step in and takes the first pitch straight. Maile was hit by a pitch in the 7th. He scored on the Donaldson home run. Buck Showalter has some strong feelings about September call-ups as far as their gaining experience. When he was the manager of the Yankees in 1995, he called up a young shortstop and took him with him into the postseason, although he wasn't eligible. That young shortstop was Derek Jeter. And Jeter would later on say, hey, when I was with them in the playoffs, I thought that was standard procedure. Yankees always go to the playoffs. So Buck felt that was very important to take Posada and Jeter with him in 1995. They lost to the Mariners, but at the same time, those two youngsters got a taste of what the Yankees were all about.
Yeah, winning late. He was telling me the story the other day. He said, I brought up 4 prospects, Jeter and Posada. I think Bernie Williams might have been there. I think he said Pettit. And they said there was another prospect that we brought up. He said he called him into his office and he said, "Hey guys, I don't want to hear a peep out of you guys as this ball's lifted into center field. I don't want to hear about anything that you're doing away from the ballpark. I want it, nothing. If I find out, I'm sending you home." He said those kids never left their hotel room for a month. He laid down the law early that month and said, "I don't want to hear anything."
Yeah, and you know what? He really set the tone. And Buck's done a lot of good things with organizations, and he's been the manager of the year 3 different times in 3 different organizations. But that certainly set the standard for the Yankees, and they would go on to win several World Series. Steve Pearce is 0 for 3 with a walk. He scored a run.
You know, he was saying also about September baseball, when you bring these young kids up here, you can gain a lot, not even just playing in the game. Forget about playing in the game. Just watching how the big leaguers go about their business, how they work, how they prepare.
Pierce hits it deep into center field. The record is back right at the track in deep center field to haul it in.
He was talking about, you know, watching how they work out, how they eat, everything they do. It's about a big league environment. So when you come back next year in spring training, you have a little bit of experience for a young player.
Trey Mancini talked about his time with the Blue Jays, or with the Orioles last year. He got in 5 games, got to go to the wild card game, saw the atmosphere at Rogers Center when these 2 teams played, and how valuable that was for him when he went to spring training this year.
So you know that's how you get that shot at Champ Cisco, their #1 prospect, the catching prospect. He will see that, you know, I'm a pretty good player. I'm playing against the big leaguers here. What do I have to do? Do I need to get bigger and stronger? Do I need to, you know, throw harder? I mean, there's all kind of things that both of these teams are going to get.
Everybody gets a little seasoning in September. And this been told, the great Ernie Banks and Stan Musial were both September call-ups, and that's how their major league careers started. Banks, of course, with the Cubs, and Musial with the Cardinals. Josh Donaldson gets that slider foul off the catcher. Donaldson is 2 for 4. And a single in the 6th and a 3-run home run in the 7th. Now he's got another hit. Boy, he stayed on that breaking ball. There was a big gap over there on the right side of the infield, and he shoots it through that gap.
They play him in the shift, but pitch him breaking balls away. And good hitters are going to hit breaking balls like this to right field if you're a right-handed hitter. Look at that. You got to beat 1 defender on that right side. That's easy pickings for a good hitter like Donaldson.
So Donaldson has had a 3-hit game. His last 3 at-bats, single, home run, single. Here's Justin Smoak. He's 1 for 3. The ball goes off the glove of Cisco. And that's going to go all the way back to the screen, and Donaldson moves up. There's another aspect of catching in the big leagues, and you have a little bit extra movement, a little bit more velocity. Got to make an adjustment. Asher and Cisco, of course, played in AAA together. But still, you can't be lazy on that ball. You got to get on everything, and that went off his glove.
You got to pick the game up. Sometimes the game gets a little bit ahead of you, a little speedy. So you got to turn it up a notch.
One 1-0 pitch to Smoak. Now it's a strike. Smoak and Morales, 2 switch hitters, have combined to hit 61 home runs this season. And the all-time mark for teammate switch hitters hitting home runs is 68, set by the Yankees in 2009. Mark Teixeira and Nick Swisher. Teixeira hit 39, Swisher hit 29. Teixeira and Swisher also have the second highest total, 62. They did it twice. And then Smoke and Morales, they have 61.
I like their chances.
Yeah.
Especially when they get into the grooves that we have seen. We saw Morales the first night in here in some kind of groove. He popped 3 of them out of here.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Justin Smoke. Now it's full count. The New York Mets had a pair of switch hitters that hit 61 home runs as well in the same season, 1993. Bobby Bonilla and Eddie Murray. Bonilla hit 34, Murray hit 27. Smoke strikes out. That ends the top half of the ninth. The Blue Jays will go to the bottom of the ninth with a big lead here in Baltimore.
Starts Tuesday, but for Houston. So when Detroit comes to the Rogers Center later this month, he won't be in the mix. It's the Tigers, Orioles, Royals, and Yankees all coming to Toronto this month. BlueJays.com for tickets. Buck?
Thank you very much, Arash. Miguel Cabrera will be active as he began his 6-game suspension tonight. So by the time they get there on Friday, he will have served. Well, he will have served 5 games, so he might be active by Saturday. This is Tim Meza, another relief pitcher, as the Blue Jays have gotten some good work out of their bullpen tonight.
Meza becomes the 4th reliever after Marcus had to leave this game after an inning and 2/3 after getting hit on that elbow. Meza, his 9th game in the big leagues. He has shown some promise. Good fastball, good slider. Zico Carrera will take over in left field like he does late in games when the Blue Jays are leading. Takes over for Steve Pearce in left field.
Meza trying to finish things up here in the ninth. Mancini, Davis, and Trumbo. Mancini's 1 for 3. Ground ball up the middle, make it 2 for 4. Leadoff base hit for the Orioles. Now for a preview of what's coming up next on Sportsnet Central. Here's Martine Guyard and Brendan Dunlop. Thank you very much, Brendan, and Martine will have that all for you coming up after this ball game. Ryan Tepera loosening up.
Yeah, just in case. I think the Blue Jays respect the Orioles and their ability to score runs. So just in case Tepera is getting loose.
This Davis takes one inside. Davis is 0 for 3. Tells you a lot about the depth of this lineup. Davis has won 2 home run titles, and Mark Trumbo has won 1. And they're batting 6th and 7th in this lineup.
Now that's some thunder down at the bottom of your lineup.
That is big time thunder. And then Wellington Castillo, he's hitting 8th. He's got 16 home runs. Chance Cisco has taken over for Castillo, but he is not in that 8th spot. It's Joey Rickard as they've made some defensive changes. Minnesota, they converted on the field goal. It's now 17-0.
Go Vikes.
How about that? Ground ball. Donaldson at short will go to first to throw out Davis. He was asking now if they had a play at second. He asked Goins, but he made the right play.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just outs. That's all you're concerned with right now. Just get outs. JD with a nice play from the shortstop position as they are in the shift.
Well, Minnesota, they've had some big nights at the plate.
You mentioned Maurer was 4 for 4 earlier.
Maurer was 4 for 4. He drove into Eduardo Escobar, the third baseman, is 3 for 5 with 2 home runs and 6 ribbies. Byron Buxton 3 for 5. Well, when you score 17, a lot of guys are going to have good nights. The Mets have taken a 1-0 lead over Houston in game 2 of that doubleheader. Remember, coming up after this game on Sportsnet Central, Martine Guyard and Brendan Dunlop will talk about the doubleheader in Houston. First time the club has returned since the hurricane. There were some pregame ceremonies. The mayor of Houston threw out the first pitch. A.J. Hinch was asked to address the fans, and they had a very emotional pregame ceremony prior to that doubleheader. So that's all coming up right after this game, so make sure you stay tuned for that.
And they get Justin Verlander Tuesday.
How about that?
It's the pitch for him.
He'll pitch against the Seattle Mariners, and Verlander beat the Mariners early in the season, way back in April. Verlander's been throwing the ball well. Verlander actually pitched in that game. It was a 2-1 Seattle win, but the winning run came off K-Route, the closer, late in the game. But Verlander pitched 7 innings, allowed 1 run. It was an unearned run in 7 innings and had 8 strikeouts. So
that's going to be a trade that's going to help both teams.
That's a huge trade. Trumbo hits one up the middle, over the glove of Barney into center. Here comes Mancini. And the Orioles have scored their 2nd run.
You see how strong Mark Trumbo is? I mean, he just flicked his wrist in the bat at that baseball, and it handcuffed Darwin out at second base because it was hit so hard. He can lay back as long as he can. Watch how he hits his breaking ball down and away. Just rips it. And that one is hit hard. Back through the middle. He'll get an RBI single out of this. Hits the mound, and then that in-between hop, Darwin can't knock it down. Run number 2 crosses the plate for the Orioles.
Joey Rickard getting his first plate appearance. He came into the game defensively to play center in the top half of this inning. It's a high fly ball into shallow left field. Carrera coming in. He makes the catch. The Orioles down to their final out. So this is going to be a pinch hitter, Anthony Santander. We saw Santander last night. He pinch hit into the 12th and was called out on strikes facing Aaron Loup.
They have a lot of high hopes for this kid. They're keeping him as a Rule 5 pick. So they're in the thick of a pennant race, and they have a Rule 5 guy that they are basically carrying because they like his potential.
There goes Trumbo. The ball is pulled foul, and Trumbo will go back to first. You know, it's unusual that a contending team like the Orioles would have a Rule 5 pick on their team. He was hurt early in the season, and he was on the disabled list, so they will have to keep him into next year before they either send him down or keep him before they offer him back to the Cleveland Indians, the team from which he was drafted.
And if you watch him, you can see why they're excited about him. Switch hitter. He's got some power. All he needs is some experience now.
The Orioles can carry a Rule 5 player because all of their regulars play every day, so they don't need the versatility on the bench. The Blue Jays had a similar situation in '85. They had 2 Rule 5 players. 0-2. Cut on and missed, and that's the ball game. Santander strikes out. Meza ends it with a strikeout, and the Blue Jays win it 7-2. Home runs tonight. That was the theme for the Blue Jays. Pilar, Donaldson, and Barney all hitting home runs. Part of a 9-hit attack, and the Blue Jays have won their second game in this 3-game series, with the finale coming tomorrow. DeMarlo Hale managed in the absence of John Gibbons tonight.
And the home runs and everything was great. The 7 runs on 9 hits, but we'll be holding our breath for Marcus Stroman, who had to lead this game with a line drive off of his elbow. Hope everything is okay there. Blue Jays have a chance tomorrow to win the series here in Baltimore. After the 7-2 win tonight,